Hello, you super fans out there. Welcome back to another exciting Reading Loud with Miss Disney. I am your lovely host. Obviously, I am Miss Disney. So, it is spring break, and so that means that I get to have a little break to myself, and of course with my family, who is at work and at daycare. So, yeah, quality family time. Anyway, on this special spring break edition, I've decided to take a little bit of a break from the Disney Chills books and the Disney Tale anthology, but I will be back to doing them as soon as spring break is over. I thought that for this special week, I actually dive into a different Twisted Tales novel, Suddenly Super. I got this last year and I have not had a chance to read it, but I have been dying to. I know you're probably asking, why didn't I read it when I first got it? Well, here's the thing. My brain has a certain way of doing things. I do it like in the order of my favorite princesses. So starting with Snow White, ending with Raya, and then I go from a certain order of my choice. I'm not gonna. If you're curious about the certain order that I do my readings in, feel free to comment, and I will gladly answer them when I can. But for spring break, we are going to dive into Suddenly Super and be a super. What is this Suddenly Super all about? Well, what if Violet became an agent of Syndrome? Ooh. 14-year-old Violet Parr lives by two rules: hide her superpowers and blend in. But when a mysterious woman named Mirage claims that her parents have been killed by the National Super Agency, Violet realizes everything she thought she knew about her life might be a lie. The only person that can protect Violet, Dash, and Jack Jack is the powerful Syndrome, who says that he's Mr. Incredible's biggest fan. Shall we get started? Chapter 1. Violet. This was a bad plan. A very bad plan. It's the perfect plan, Kari McGee argued, her lisp making her words stick together like taffy. We go for an hour, then be back here before the movie gets out, and our mums pick us up. They'll never even know. Violet Parr had barely set foot in the Metroville cinema, and already she was regretting the decision. 2 minutes after being dropped off in front of the cinema to see a slasher film Violet hadn't wanted to see in the first place, Kari was changing the plan. All because Lucy Daniels had walked by, seen Violet, and invited them to Matt Reynolds' party. A party. Violet couldn't think of a worse nightmare. Why hadn't she just stayed in? Made a huge bowl of popcorn and watched cartoons on TV like she did every other Friday night. Because her mom had been bugging her to make friends, that's why. Look where that idea got her. Kari gripped Violet by the shoulders, getting that wild look in her eye she sometimes got when she'd had too much sugar. Please, Violet, Lucy Daniels is inviting us to a party. She looked over her shoulder at the group of older girls standing a few feet away. An actual party, and we get to arrive with a junior. Kari's dark blonde ponytail swayed at her head, moved along with her hands. We can't say no to that. Violet sighed and looked over at Lucy, who was surrounded by friends. Kari was right about one thing. No one said no to Lucy. Not even Lucy's Uncle Lucius, who was Violet's honorable uncle, but Lucy's actual one. Even though it was against the rules, Lucy was the one person she knew who was privy to the fact that once upon a time Uncle Lucius was the famed Frozone, and Violet's parents were Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl. Keeping the truth a secret was priority number 1 in the Parr house. But at Uncle Lou's, it appeared secrets weren't locked up as tight. Lucy had learned the truth when she'd found her uncle's super suit behind a wall, in a wardrobe, concealed by another wardrobe. Violet wasn't surprised she had figured it out. Lucy's parents were archaeologists, so that family was good at cracking clues. And doing impressions, Lucy did a spot-on imitation of Uncle Lou and one of Violet's father that kept everyone in stitches at family dinners. which Lucy attended since she stayed with her uncle anytime her parents were away on a dig. Violet's mom was always going on and on about how sweet and accomplished Lucy was, which just made Violet want to disappear even more. Literally. Which she had, in front of Lucy, on more than one occasion. At least Lucy already knew the family secret. "So, what do you say?" Lucy asked, approaching Kari and Violet. With flawless brown skin and long, loose curls of black hair that tumbled to her mid-back, Lucy constantly looked like she was walking out of the pages of a fashion magazine. She was also class president, head cheerleader, and the most popular girl at Metroville High. Lucy looked pointedly at Violet, folding her arms across her red and white varsity jumper. "Are you two coming?" "Yes," Kari crowed at the same time Violet mumbled, "I don't think it's a good idea." "Come on, Vi." Lucy took her hand and swung it through the air. "It will be fun." Fun? Violet didn't even like to talk to people most days at school. Lucy knew this. How was she going to handle a party? Kari looked at Violet pleadingly. The two of them were at the bottom of the Metroville High food chain. They didn't get invited to parties, and Violet was okay with that for many reasons. Kari apparently was not. "Yeah, fun! Everyone is going!" Kari cocked her head. "At least I think they are. I heard Matt Reynolds tell Jason Hoffman, who was telling Jessica Sparrow in the hallway, that they were listening to new records tonight, and everyone should come because his parents were out to dinner with his dad's boss." She looked at Lucy. "Right?" Lucy shrugged. "Something like that." She glanced at Violet. "So?" Violet suspected this attention from Lucy was all her mom's fault. If she weren't constantly talking at family dinners about how she wished Violet would come out of her shell, this wouldn't be happening. Violet turned to Kari. "What if we don't make it back here before our mums come pick us up?" "I'm good at math," Kari pleaded too loudly for Violet's liking. "I looked up Matt's address in the phone book after school, and he lives 3 blocks from here. It will only take us 6 minutes to walk over to the party and 6 minutes to walk back. The movie is 2 hours long, so we have 1 hour and 44 minutes to be at the party." Lucy smirked. "I like you. What's your name again?" "Carla." "Kari McKean," she said happily. "Violet, if you're really that worried about your mom, Kari McKean's plan seems foolproof." Lucy agreed. Both girls looked at Violet again for an answer. The plan did seem logical, but if my mom finds out I left the movie theater without permission, she'll be mad. There, she said it. Violet's palms were beginning to sweat. "What if my mom gets in the theater early and sees us walking?" Kari rolled her eyes. "Fine, we will leave after 1 hour and 36 minutes. That leaves us with plenty of time to go to Matt's party, get back here, and be waiting out front." "Come on," Kari moaned. It will be fun going with Lucy's friends. Don't you want to have fun?" Kari talked. A lot. Violet knew that annoyed some people at school, but Violet actually found a chatty friend a plus. Kari talking too much meant she didn't need to talk at all. At lunch, Violet usually just ate her sandwich, apple, and pretzels, and nodded here and there as Kari went on and on about something that happened in the science lab or on her last babysitting job. Kari was the most in-demand babysitter in Metroville because she was, as she liked to say, a sitter who stimulated babies' minds with flashcards and Mozart. To Violet, this was a perfect friendship. Kari's need to talk meant Violet didn't have to reveal much about herself other than where she lived, how many siblings she had, and who she had a crush on, and that reveal had been an accident. Her family was not normal, which was why she kept her distance from people, stayed quiet, faded into the background. She didn't want to slip up like her dad had, him trying to relive his super glory days as Mom called them, and going rogue trying to rescue someone had blown his cover more than once, which had forced them to move again. Kari was the first person Violet had spent this much time with. They'd been sitting together at lunch every day since school started last autumn. Listening to her friend talk was very soothing. Kari talked as they walked to math class. She talked outside school in the morning and sometimes when they partnered up in gym class to run the 1 mile loop together. Kari talked during all 4 laps around the track, which Violet was amazed by. Who had the lung capacity to run and talk for a whole mile? The only person she could think of was her brother Dash, and he was a super with super speed. Not that anyone outside her family, other than Uncle Lucius, Aunt Honey, and Lucy, knew that. If my mom found out I lied to her, I'd be grounded, Violet not tried. Maybe getting grounded was something both Lucy and Kari would be afraid of too. Your moms will never know, Lucy said. And Vi, I bet your mom wouldn't care if she found out you were with me. She looked at Kari again. Our families are super close. Inwardly, Violet groaned. Why did Lucy have to use the word super? Can I talk to Violet alone a second? Lucy asked Kari. Sure, Kari said, spitting by accident. I'll go introduce myself to your friends. She ran off, yelling her full first and last name to the group of students a few feet away. Okay, tell me what's going on. If an upperclassman had invited me to a party at your age, I would have jumped at the chance, Lucy teased, and Violet just wanted to retreat into herself more. You're going to be with me. People are going to be nice to you, if that's what you're worried about. This conversation reeked of her mom. That's not it, Violet lied, even if it kind of was. A party where people were listening to records meant there would be dancing. She was not dancing. What was she going to do? Stand in the corner and watch people dance? That was awkward. Violet took a deep breath, inhaling the scent of butter wafting from the cinema. Her mouth watered. Safe, wonderful popcorn. Then what is it? Lucy's voice was quieter. Are you afraid you're going to... She waved her hands in the air like a magician. Freak out and disappear? It's not going to happen. Violet's heart fluttered. But it could happen. It won't, Lucy said softly. Relax. Easy for you to say, Violet whispered. It was hard to explain, and she realized she'd never actually tried to explain it before. I can't control when I could be anxious or excited, nervous or happy, which is why it's so scary. No one wants to be super anymore. If I slip up, she sighed. I think about disappearing every day, all day at school, Violet confessed, closing her eyes for a moment to block out the thought. It could happen any time. Going invisible sounds awesome, Lucy said wistfully, and Violet opened her eyes, peering out from behind her a curtain of black hair to take in the older girl's far-off look. If only my mom was on Uncle Lou's side of the family, maybe I'd be so lucky. Violet wanted to tell her having powers was not lucky, but Lucy just kept talking. But this is about you, not me, and I promise you, if you come to the party, I will keep an eye on you. If you feel anything coming on, I'll get you out the door or cover for you. Lucy was being nicer than she needed to be. You promise? Violet hesitated. I guess we are going for an hour, but my mom... I'm still worried she'll find out. Lucy smiled slyly. I have an idea about how to handle that. I may not be super, but I do have a skill that could help us. Violet paled. No, you wouldn't. You couldn't. Could you? Lucy winked and pulled Violet over to a payphone outside the cinema. Watch me. Lucy slipped change in the phone and dialed Violet's house. Mom? Lucy mimicked Violet's voice exactly. She gave Violet a thumbs up. Lucy Daniels is at the movies too. I know, that is funny. Anyway, she wants us to see the movie that starts a half hour later with her. Can I? Violet's eyes nearly bulged out of her head. I know, that's so nice of her, right? Lucy winked at Violet. So can you pick me up later? Is that okay? I can? Thanks, Mom. Lucy hung up and stared at Violet triumphantly. Problem solved. I just bought you more time. Lucy was the finest mimic Violet knew. If her mom bought Lucy's call, there was no getting out of this party now. Violet hung her head. Okay, she mumbled into her hair. Kari, Violet is in, Lucy called over to her. Kari came running back. Really? Yes! Kari jumped up and down. Her trainers were pristine white. Violet could tell because Kari had rolled up the bottom of her jeans, which all the girls were doing lately. Violet had thought about doing it too, but she usually had nowhere to go. Tonight was a rarity. This is going to be great! I didn't even tell you the best part! Kari grinned, the shiny metal of her braces reflecting off the bright cinema marquee lights above them. Tony Ryander's going to be there. Violet's face reddened. So what? She quietly stared at her feet in embarrassment. Lucy folded her arms. Tony, huh? I know him. He's nice, Vi. It's not like I've never spoken to... It's nothing, she stuttered. Don't disappear, she told herself. Don't disappear. Well, you could talk to him tonight, Kari said. Matt is going, obviously, since it's at Matt's house, which means Tony and Matt will be there. We'll both be there. Kari sighed and held her hands together reverently. Can't you see it now? Matt and Tony falling madly in love with us? We'd have the cutest boyfriends in the whole school. We could double date. Lucy nudged Violet. She's funny. Funny, yes. But was Kari psychic? Because the Tony and Violet going out fantasy was one she entertained a lot. What if tonight was the night Tony finally noticed her? Violet bit the inside of her cheek at the thought. This wasn't just a party. This was a party with Tony Ryender. He was worth taking a risk for. Violet squared her shoulders, stood up straighter, and blew her hair out of her right eye to stare directly at Lucy and Kari. Okay, you two win. Let's go to a party.